Very good evening. So welcome back to my channel Sense of Science. In case you have not liked my videos or subscribed my channel, please do it now. Okay. So in today's class, we'll be talking about a crucial topic of electrostatics, electric charges and field class 12, Coulomb's law. Okay. Now Coulomb's law basically was given in order to determine the electrostatic force between two charges or more charges. So it is just like the universal law of gravitation given by Newton, which determined the gravitational force. Okay, gravitational force between two objects. The electrostatic force, the force can also be electrostatic. That electrostatic force between two objects or two charges were determined by Coulomb's law. So it is often called as the gravitational analog. Okay, the analog of Newton's law of gravitation. Okay. Now what does the statement read? The statement is quite similar to the Newton's law of gravitation. I won't be writing it, I will be explaining it mathematically. Okay. So let's move on to the statement now. The statement states that the electrostatic force between two charges is directly proportional to the product of the two charges and it's inversely proportional to the distance between the two charges through the line of charge. Let's understand. The force is directly proportional to the product of two charges. Let the charge 1 be Q1 and charge 2 be Q2. So force is proportional to Q1, Q2. This is case 1. Now case 2 was that the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distances between two. R is the distance between Q and Q. So just if I write like this, this is Q1, this is Q2 and it's separated by this will be your R. Fine. So now if we combine 1 and 2, you will see now after combining 1 and 2 what we get as the value. Force is proportional to Q1 Q2 upon R square. Fine. So this is combining 1 and 2. Now for removal of the proportionality we have to add a constant. So let me add a constant k. Like for gravitation it was G. I add constant k and I write it force is equal to k Q1 Q2 upon R square. Okay. This force is a vector quantity. Is this fine? Where these two are the charges and this is the distance between the two charges. So this is the Coulomb's law expression. So this is your expression. Now if I want to talk about this constant k, Coulomb's law constant k. Now this constant k has the value 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Now just understand this. 1 upon 4 pi the constant. This is the determining factor. Epsilon naught. Now what do I mean by epsilon naught? Epsilon naught basically is the absolute permittivity of a medium. Now let's understand. Now when I have, just understand this with the help of this visual, that when I have two charges, say Q1, I have Q1 here and I have a charge Q2 here, and these two charges are separated by R. Okay. But these two charges will be kept in some medium, or in the least case it will be kept in vacuum. कहीं ना कहीं तो होगा ही charge, है ना? Now anytime there is a medium, the medium will offer something known as permittivity. Permittivity. Now what is permittivity? Permittivity is a property of a medium which affects the electrostatic force. मतलब electrostatic force permittivity से change हो जाता है. Okay? So generally what I will say is permittivity is actually inversely proportional to the electrostatic force. If you will see this, k is equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, and if I modify the Coulomb's law now, F is equal to k Q1 Q2 upon R square. ये Coulomb's law था. Now if I put the value of F here, sorry k here, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 upon R square. So that means what I can observe is force is inversely proportional to the permittivity. So permittivity hence is a property of the material which affects and reduces the electrostatic force between that material. So you can imagine permittivity to be a sort of resistance. Okay, force यहाँ से जा रहा है and permittivity is reducing it like this, is resisting it like this, is your point. Okay. So now coming back to understand permittivity. Now this permittivity can acquire different values, and let's understand the values of this permittivity now. So coming on to the values of permittivity, this permittivity can be absolute permittivity. Okay. This permittivity can be permittivity of a medium, and this permittivity can be relative permittivity. Let's understand all of them now. Now this absolute permittivity is denoted by epsilon naught. Okay, absolute permittivity is basically known as epsilon naught, and it is basically the permittivity which is offered when the medium is वैक्यूम. ओके, जब मीडियम वैक्यूम होगा तो परमिटिविटी विल बी कॉल्ड एज एब्सोल्यूट परमिटिविटी, एप्सिलॉन. फाइन. एंड व्हेन आई प्लेस दिस चार्जेस इन सम अदर मीडियम अदर देन वैक्यूम, अगर पानी में डालूं, एयर में, सेमीकंडक्टर में, कंडक्टर में, सॉलिड में, then the permittivity will obviously change from absolute and it will be known as epsilon only, and it will be called permittivity of a medium. The epsilon naught is the permittivity of the ideal case vacuum. Epsilon is the permittivity of any other medium, which can be water, air. So this can be a water, this can be air, etc. Any medium. Okay. अब बात करते हैं relative पे. What is relative? Now relative permittivity is basically the ratio of absolute permittivity, okay, permittivity of free space to permittivity of a medium. Fine. So the ratio of permittivity of the medium to the permittivity of the free space, I'm sorry, I have written this in the wrong way. This has to be like this, epsilon upon epsilon naught. The ratio of permittivity of a medium to the permittivity of vacuum is your relative permittivity. और relative permittivity को हम कैसे denote करते हैं? We denote relative permittivity by epsilon r. Okay, so epsilon r is your relative permittivity, which is the ratio of the permittivity of a medium to the permittivity of a vacuum, the ideal case. This is the ideal case. Okay, because vacuum mein there is no effect. Fine. Now this relative permittivity is also called dielectric constant. Okay, so hence epsilon r is equal to epsilon by epsilon naught, which is equal to k, which is your dielectric constant. Now one more confusion here which can arise is that when I write k in Coulomb's law, that is the Coulomb's law constant, and this k is the dielectric constant. So you can just see the difference in the way we write. The Coulomb's law constant is written like this, whereas a dielectric constant is written in a much smaller way. Okay, so they are different. ठीक है. Now अब एक बात करते हैं. Coulomb's law के लिए I have given this expression 1/4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square. This expression is only for vacuum because we are using epsilon naught. But if we are using a medium, then the medium will be, so if I am writing Coulomb's law in a medium, okay, so let me come to this. So if I am writing Coulomb's law in a medium, the permittivity will come into play, force will get affected. So what will be the force here? 1/4 4 pi epsilon naught, this will be there, into k, the dielectric constant, q1 q2 upon r square. So this is the new term. Okay, आप समझते हैं ये कैसे आया. What is k? K is epsilon by epsilon naught. Epsilon is what? Permittivity of a medium, और हमें यही चाहिए इसमें. So this will be basically 1 upon, okay, I'll do it on the next page, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught into k की वैल्यू लग देते हैं epsilon upon epsilon naught q1 q2 upon r square. ये force है. Epsilon naught gets cancelled to epsilon naught, so what is the final value of the force? Epsilon naught and epsilon naught gets cancelled, so what is the final value upon force? 1 upon 4 pi epsilon q1 q2 upon r square, where epsilon is for a medium. तो अगर हम मीडियम में हो तो परमिटिविटी विल बी यूज्ड फॉर अ मीडियम, एंड हेंस instead of epsilon naught I write epsilon naught into k, which gives us the epsilon, okay, which is the permittivity of a medium. So this is Coulomb's law for medium. Okay, so be very careful while you are writing epsilon or epsilon naught. It should be verified always that whether I am writing Coulomb's law for a medium or whether I am writing Coulomb's law for vacuum. Okay, अगर वैक्यूम के केस में भी मुझे k लिखना है, if I write Coulomb's law like this also, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught k q1 q2 upon r square. If I have to write this for vacuum, can I write this? Yes, I can write this. Here k will be equal to 1, ताकि इसका कोई इफेक्ट ही ना है. वैक्यूम के लिए भी I can write k, but k has to be equal to 1, and medium के लिए it will be value some other than 1. Okay, is that clear? So hence if I divide the vacuum force by k, the dielectric constant, I get the force of a medium. So one final result is, if I divide the F vacuum by k, hence I will get the F medium. Because F vacuum is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, I write the k here. This is the same thing I have done here. Here what I have done is I have divided the F vacuum by k. Okay, that's the same thing which I have done here, and I have got the F medium. Okay, so this is the result to be used in numericals as well. So this is for numericals as well. Fine. Okay, now one more thing here for the Coulomb's law. The Coulomb's law can also be written in vector form. Okay, for that there is a derivation that charges force of 1 to 2 and 2 is to 1. So you can go through that as well. But before understanding the vector form of Coulomb's law, we have to understand conditions of validity. Okay, conditions of validity. Now on what conditions is the Coulomb's law valid, and this can be changed into limitations as well. Okay, what are the limitations of Coulomb's law? Coulomb's law is valid for point charges. Now I have a video based on point charge. Point charge is any charge whose dimension is very small as compared to the distance it moves. Any point charge, any point object, जितना वो move करता है उससे उसका size बहुत कम है. Okay. The point charges must be at rest. Now as I have given you, Coulomb's law is in the first slide. If you will see, this is for electrostatic force. Electrostatic means charges at rest. Motion में ये current बन जाता है, उसमें Coulomb's law is not valid. There we take Ohm's law. Okay. And then one more thing we should know, the Coulomb's law should be in a line of charge, and the separation of the charges must be greater than the nucleus size of the charge. So distance of separation, distance should be greater than 10 power minus 15 meter. ये size है, ये इस condition को prove करता है. Okay, distance is greater than the dimension. Dimension of a nucleus is this 10 power minus 15. तो इसलिए इस डायमेंशन से डिस्टेंस मस्ट बी ग्रेटर इन ऑर्डर टू प्रूव विद द पॉइंट चार्ज. तो ये पॉइंट के लिए ये हमारा इम्पॉर्टेंट है. ओके, इज दैट फाइन? ओके, नाउ वन मोर थिंग कैन बी आस्क्ड एज अ 1 marker sometimes, that what is the range of Coulombian forces. Now range, पहला range है, the Coulombian force has to be greater than the nucleus size 10 power minus 15 से बड़ा होना चाहिए, बिकॉज वो न्यूक्लियर साइज है. डिस्टेंस, ओके, आई एम टॉकिंग द डिस्टेंस. 10 पावर माइनस 15 से बड़ा तभी तो चार्ज पॉइंट चार्ज बनेगा. एंड इट शुड बी जनरली लेस देन और इक्वल टू 10 पावर 18 मीटर. जनरल ट्रेंड है. ओके, दिस इज अ जनरल ट्रेंड विच वी ऑब्जर्व for the Coulomb's law. Okay, is that fine? Now whenever I need to write the Coulomb's law in vector form, because force is a vector, there are two charges q1 and q2, and if I need to write the Coulomb's law in vector form between them, I will just write force on 1:2, okay, which is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught, okay, q1 q2 upon r square. But if force is a vector, I need to add a unit vector here also. I'll write r1 2, so okay, r21, sorry, okay, distance of 2 to 1, force on 1 due to 2. And in the similar way, if I need to write, because this will exert force on this will also exert force on this, forces will be a two-way process. अगर फोर्स q1 q2 को लगा रहा है तो q2 भी वही फोर्स q1 को भी लगा रहा होगा डिफरेंट डायरेक्शन में, ओके. इन द सिमिलर वे फोर्स ऑन 2 ड्यू टू 1 विल बी इक्वल टू 1 अपॉन 4 पाई एप्सिलॉन नॉट. ये सब तो सेम रहेंगे, q1 q2 अपॉन r स्क्वायर, बस वेक्टर बदल जाएगा r1 2, 1 को 2 की वजह से. तो 1 2 आएगा जब यहाँ पे 2 1 है, जब यहाँ पे 1 2 है यहाँ पे 2 1 आ जाएगा. So when I am writing Coulomb's law in a vector form, now why do I need to write in the vector form? Because Coulomb's law, the forces are vector forces, okay. Forces are vector forces and they act along the line of charge. तो इसलिए हमें डायरेक्शन स्पेसिफाई करनी होती है. तो फोर्स q1 q2 पे लगा रहा है एंड q2 ऑल्सो इज गिविंग अ फोर्स ऑन q1. तो दोनों का फॉर्म हमने लिख दिया वेक्टर में और एक यूनिट वेक्टर ऐड कर दिया. Whenever I have to express one quantity in vector, I will express it by adding a unit vector in the other quantity. Is that fine? Now what is the importance of vector form? Importance of vector form, इसकी क्या importance है? The simplest of the simplest answer to this is that number one, forces are vectors. Forces are vector quantities, isn't it? And the second thing is the forces always, force 1 पे 2 की वजह से लग रहा है और 2 पे 1 की वजह से, दो फोर्स लग रहा है. दो फोर्स कौन से हो गए? एक्शन रिएक्शन. Whenever there are two forces acting, थर्ड लॉ, न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ ऑफ मोशन हैज टू बी ओबेड, और वो ओनली वेक्टर फॉर्म के लिए वैलिड है. सो दैट मीन्स व्हाट आई कंक्लूड इज F12 इज इक्वल टू माइनस F21, ओके. ये न्यूटन्स थर्ड लॉ ऑफ मोशन है. फोर्सेज और एवरी एक्शन हैज एन इक्वल एंड अपोजिट रिएक्शन. मतलब अगर फोर्स 2 1 पे लगा रहा है तो वो सेम फोर्स 1 भी 2 पे लगाएगा, बिकॉज फोर्सेज आर सेम, बस द डायरेक्शन विल चेंज. This is from Newton's third law of motion, which is a class 9 topic and class 11. 9 and 11 में ये डिटेल में दिया हुआ है, okay. So again repeat, Coulomb's law in vector form is important because this will help you to understand that forces are always vector quantities. They have a direction, okay. Why do I need vector? Because they have direction. And the second thing is to obey Newton's third law of motion. Okay, that means the F12 is equal to minus F21 और F21 is equal to minus F12. फोर्सेस दोनों चार्ज 1 2 पे और 2 1 पे सेम ही लगाएंगे, बस द डायरेक्शन विल बी रिवर्स्ड, है ना. वो डायग्राम से हम क्लियर कर सकते हैं. अगेन आई शो यू द डायग्राम वंस अगेन. इफ आई हैव q1 हियर, इफ आई हैव q2 हियर, इफ दिस द डिस्टेंस r बिटवीन देम, q1 जो फोर्स लगाएगा q2 पे वो ये है इस डायरेक्शन पे, और q2 जो फोर्स लगाएगा q1 पे, आई एम सॉरी, q2 जो फोर्स लगाएगा q1 पे वो इस डायरेक्शन में है, ऑपोजिट है. बट वन थिंग टू बी रिमेंबर्ड, ये फोर्स ऑपोजिट तो हैं, दीज आर ऑपोजिट फोर्सेस, बट दे आर इक्वल इन मैग्नीट्यूड बट ऑपोजिट इन डायरेक्शन. ओके, द फोर्सेस आर इक्वल इन मैग्नीट्यूड बट दे आर ऑपोजिट इन डायरेक्शन. ये याद रखना है. ये दोनों सेम फोर्स लगा रहे हैं, पर ये इस पे इस डायरेक्शन में लगा रहे हैं, ये इस पे इस डायरेक्शन में लगा रहे हैं. That's why we need to assign the vector form to the Coulomb's law, and hence vector form of Coulomb's law is very important. Okay, so in this video we understood the Coulomb's law and its vector form in detail. So with this we close the class and we'll meet in the next class with some new topic. Also, if you have any doubt or want me to do any specific topic, please do write it in the comment section. Okay, I am waiting for you to write in the comment section so that I can give any topic which you need the most. Fine. So till then, stay safe, stay happy. Thank you. Please like, share and subscribe. So thank you.